Hello everyone, my name is Swateku and we're on the Pioneer Show Charity Quest. Today on the show, we're actually going to be showcasing individuals and organizations that have actually done something positive for their environment. And we can't always wait on the government to do everything for us. So what we actually do here is actually showcase individuals that have actually done something to bring about positive change to their environment. So today on the show, we're having a guest. Her name is Mrs. Elsie Ozika, and she's actually the founder and executive director of Toilet Culture Initiative. She'll stay back after the break, come back with more interesting interview. Welcome back to Charity Quest, and as I mentioned earlier, we're here back again with the founder and executive director of Toilet Culture Initiative. So welcome, madam.
Thank you, Swat.
Thank you. Okay, ma'am, I'd like to ask you, what was your inspiration? What inspired you to start up this foundation or this NGO, Toilet Culture Initiative? What's the story behind this?
Okay, thank you for that question. Nigeria is enough to inspire anyone to do anything. But talking about toilet culture is one of my favorite hobbies on this job because of what motivated me to do what I'm doing today. I've always had concerns about the state of toilets in Nigeria, about the fact that you cannot compare the state of our toilet facilities with what we have in other countries, especially the Western countries. And I became curious as to why that was so. And so everywhere I went to, I was so irritated by bad toilets. A particular incident was in 2017. I was pregnant with my third baby and we're traveling to the US. And I was going along with my two older daughters and we went into the airport, about to board and wanted to use the bathroom. And I remember one of the cleaners saying, ma, don't enter there, there's no water. So my daughters were like, what, mommy, in an airport? And I said, well, so we got on the plane and eased ourselves. Immediately we got on the plane. So that got me thinking. And then we got to the US and we stayed for a bit. And one of the days we had to attend the graduation of one of my friends who had done his PhD in one of the universities. And my second daughter, while we were there, asked to use the bathroom. And I took her in. We asked for directions and we got there. So the door opened to a very beautiful room with a nice rug and everything. I'm like, we're looking for a bathroom now. Where are we going? Eventually we walked down the aisle and then got to a door, opened it. The smells that came from there, so welcoming, the aroma, everything. I'm like, she's like, wow, Mommy, is this a toilet? And I said, yes. And then she got in and used the toilet. And when she was done, she was 8 then. And she said, Mommy, why can't the toilet in Nigeria be like this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that is it. That singular question got me thinking. I got home that day and I couldn't sleep. I just had the baby. He was like a month plus old. But I stayed up all night just writing what I would do when I get back to Nigeria. And so right from where I was, I started calling friends and asking them, tell me about the toilets in your office. They'll be like, don't go there. Tell me about the toilets in your school. Don't go there. And the answers, everyone was saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And I knew right there that was a problem. On my way back to Nigeria, on the plane, it was, I don't want to mention the airline, but
no problem.
At some point, I noticed that the last leg of the journey from the country we were transiting back to Nigeria, they didn't bother to really clean the toilets again. And I began to wonder, I'm like, what? It's been clean all along, what changed? And when I got off the plane, I just told myself that, you know what? I think this dirty, messy toilet is becoming an identity of Nigerians. It felt so bad. But then I came back and with my little baby in my hands and all, I could think of nothing else but to do the work that I'm doing today. So that's what inspired me to...
Yeah, that's interesting. That's enough inspiration because I know that our toilet culture is very bad. So how old would you say this, it must have been new. How old is your foundation?
Okay, we started out in July of 2018. So we're about 2 years, getting to 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to ask, what's your day-to-day activity like, and what have you been able to achieve since 2018 to present day?
My day-to-day. I do this 9 to 5 every day.
Okay.
And sometimes weekends, and sometimes midnight. Yeah, because I'm so passionate about what I do here, and so is my team.
Yeah.
So 9 to 5 every day. And what have we achieved from 2018 until date? When we started out in 2018, I am not really, I couldn't really define what we were doing.
Okay.
And so I started speaking to experts.
Yeah.
And I found out that what I was doing fell into a sector called water, sanitation, and hygiene. That's called WASH.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And then they were the ones that helped to streamline most of the activities that I were doing and say, okay, so this is where you're playing at. The first activity we had was a sensitization in a primary school somewhere in Gudu in 2018.
Gudu in Abuja here?
Yes.
Okay.
We had about 118 children and their staff members and the janitors in the school. And we just had a discussion, just to create awareness about the state of our toilets in our schools and all of that. We had a child development expert come speak to them. We had a medical doctor. We had a public health person, and we had a couple of other people, behavior change experts, because we identified it as, apart from the lack of maintenance, it's a behavioral thing.
Yeah, people are already used to not having a good toilet.
Yeah, and then it starts from your primary school, because that's the first point of socialization outside your home. Yes. It's your school. So we felt to start from there. So we had all these people come and have a chat with the children and also with the adults. And it was a very nice outing. We had a good time. The children learned a lot. And all of that. That was the first outing we had. Immediately we did that, we started looking out for who else was doing what we were doing. In the course of asking questions.
So are there other people that do the same thing you do?
Oh,
or similar?
Sure. Yeah, we have a lot of players in the industry.
Okay.
So we started looking out, and we found out the ministry that was coordinating all of the activities around WASH, and that was the Federal Ministry of Water Resources. Okay. And it didn't take long for them to see what we're doing and say, okay, hey, we're willing to work with you guys. So they brought us on board, and in a very short time, it was right at a good time, because the ministry was about to launch the Clean Nigeria Use a Toilet campaign. So we came at the time when that activity was about to begin. And we came in strong. I tell you, we came in strong because of the passion we had. And we just hooked up with them.
Okay, so is it safe to say that you've gotten support from government or from other people, other sources?
Yes, we have gotten support.
Financial
technical support.
Okay, not financial support.
Because before you get to the money, you have to be able to do this. You have to understand where you're playing at, understand who else is doing what you're doing. So yeah, we relied on a lot of support. So the government took us in, and we started right out with the stakeholders meeting for the planning of the Clean Nigeria campaign, where we got to hook up with international NGOs who are already working, development partners, we call them, who are already working in the sector. That's why we met people like WaterAid, like UNICEF and WSCC, and all of the people who are playing in the sector. And so we started out with the planning, and we're one of the NGOs that was drafted in, based on our participation. And we happened to be the secretary of the publicity committee for the planning of Clean Nigeria. Okay. And from then on, the program was launched. The campaign to end overlification Nigeria was launched. And that gave us a lot of exposure to everyone in the sector. So we became friends immediately with everyone. And anytime we had events, we would call them. So that's how we became friends with everyone in the industry. So by 2019, that same year, before the program was launched, we had an outing in Uni Abuja on menstrual hygiene. I actually went to that school, and I know the state of their toilets. So we felt like, you know what, what better place will be than to go to where, we went to school. So we went right back to Uni Abuja and we had a program on menstrual hygiene and created a lot of awareness. We had a lot of partners, both within the private sector coming, like Zeni Water Project. We had Water Aid, and then the Ministry of Water Resources actually came out to support us, and all of that. So that was for 2019. And then the campaign was launched in November of 2019. And we latched right on it and started running. And we didn't look back again. In 2020, the pandemic was already on.
Yeah.
So all of our plans looked like, oh, how is it going to work? But then we thought at the peak of the COVID, we felt, okay, now there's COVID, there will be issues. Families are trying to look for food. Nobody will be thinking about menstrual pads and all of that.
Yeah.
So we thought to reach out to a community in Kuje.
Okay.
And a company in Lagos called Chevra Delphins actually came on board and said, hey, you know what, we're going to support you guys. So they didn't give us money per se, but in-kind donations. They made reusable pads for us and made some T-shirts and other materials, advocacy materials that we used for that outing. It turned out to be a very good one as well. We had the support. By then, we had found the core ministry that was running menstrual hygiene. That's the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs.
Okay.
And then we hooked up with them. And the good thing is that, again, we come strong. So we became a member of the technical working group for that committee. And then we started participating. So on the day of our event, we had support from every player, every stakeholder in menstrual hygiene. Yeah, they came out to support us. We did it in Lugbe, in Lukuje, and then at the end of the day, we went back to meet the other stakeholders where they were having an event that was being done by the Federal Minister for Women Affairs. So, yeah, that was for 2020. And then by the end of 2020, we started looking out. I love fashion, kind of, So somehow, someone called me and said, you know what? There's a young girl who just became the Queen of Africa, Tourism Queen of Africa.
Okay.
She wants to take WASH as her pet project.
Yeah.
And I'm like, go, girl. And
Perfect
then we partnered with her and we launched a project called Beauty for WASH.
Okay.
Using beauty to address issues of water, sanitation, and hygiene and promoting menstrual hygiene, basically. And so that program was launched in 2020, yeah, in December of 2020, while also commemorating the World Toilet Day. So
when is the World Toilet Day again?
What is November 19th of every year.
Okay.
Yeah. And I also forgot to mention that the program for the Menstrual Hygiene Day in 2020 was when we launched our project called TKI Pad Her Up project. Okay. The Pad Her Up was not really about pads. It was about padding the girl child with information as to what she needs to do when she's on her period, as well as the products she needs, as well as good and clean hygienic toilets for, So that was what the campaign was. So in that 2020, we launched two projects, TKI Pad Her Up and Beauty for WASH project.
That's very nice.
Yeah. And then
for a young, foundation.
Yeah, we are passionate about what we do. So we're just, everyday ideas are coming and we're just seeing how we can move forward.
So let's go to how you finance your business.
How we finance. It's not been easy, I must say.
Of course, it's not easy.
It's not been easy because most of what we've been doing has had to come from personal funds.
Personal pockets.
Yeah. In the past 3 years, like I always tell my friends, I've not done anything with my money again.
Right?
Everything just goes into TKI. And also support from friends and family. Oh, they have suffered. Okay. They have suffered.
Yeah.
But it's all good. So we always run back to them. And a few, like I said, few friends here and there who own companies who are willing to partner. So basically, that's what.
Okay, so I'd like to ask, what other contributions can people make to your foundation other than financial contributions? How can people come in?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've had a lot of volunteers. That's another thing that we enjoy. Our staff base is not so big. It's usually just 2 or 3 persons doing all of the work we're doing. So I could be the letter girl, I could be the errand girl, I could be the tea girl, I could be the one doing proposals, doing programming, doing field work. In fact, here we do basically everything.
Yeah.
But God has blessed us with a good volunteer team. So we opened up to volunteers in 2019, and we've enjoyed so much of that. A lot of young people just coming in to add their own quota. This year, we've had some of them show like so much commitment. We'll have departments within the volunteering team. We have legal departments. We have media. We have field workers. We have different people handling different things, content development, and all of the IT and all of that. So we've had some of them show strong commitments this year, and we've really just enjoyed having them. So yeah, that's one of the things. Volunteering. Yes. That's one aspect. Another way is organizations just coming or companies just saying, oh, you know what, take pads, partner with us. Yeah, partner with us, and we'll give you pads, or we'll build a toilet for you in a school you've identified, or we'll dig a borehole, or just come and help you, to give you resource persons that will help you for whatever you're doing. So there are so many ways that people can actually partner with us and help us. Okay, because when I saw this Toilet Culture Initiative, the thing that came to my mind, because I know that there is something they do in Lagos where they build like this green toilet house. Yeah. So that's the idea I have about what you're doing. Is that exactly what you do, or how do you do the toilet thing? Okay. I don't know. I still haven't gotten the picture. Well, sometimes our name puts us in a particular position, but we're doing way more than that. Okay. So really, the vision of toilet culture is to make sure that every Nigerian, every person has access to a good toilet wherever you find yourself, whether you're in school or in the marketplace and all of that. Those are your targets? Yes, but our focus really is in public institutions. We're talking about markets, motor parks, and schools, and even offices. So is it like a structure you build in a marketplace? So when we talk about this, we're talking about health promotion. Okay. And then we're talking about the physical structure. So this thing has a hardware part to it and a software part to it. The hardware is where we're doing the physical structure of giving you toilets and giving you water and giving you like what we have now, the menstrual hygiene dock, which is what we're doing in a school. We'll talk about it later, I'm sure. We're giving like a physical structure to it, but then the other software is where we're doing health promotion, creating awareness and sensitization, where we're doing trainings for employers about on the importance of giving your staff good toilet facilities to use when they're at work, and just sensitizing. And then another thing is the health clubs that we are working with now. So we're starting now to teach children at the very young age how to properly use a toilet, how to take care of their toilet, how to take care of their bodies, and all of those things that have to do with hygiene. And that's where the angle of menstrual hygiene also plays. So okay. Can I ask you where you have done a physical thing? Any structure yet? Okay. So most of our work, because we've not gotten funding, yes, okay. Most of our work has been around sensitization and awareness creation. For now. Yeah, but for the first time, we're stepping out into Elsie Ozika, a school we found in Kuje. Okay. Very lovely school, amazing people as well. And we thought to strengthen their environmental health club. There's a project that is already on board. It's called Wash in Schools that a lot of organizations have been running with. We also to take that project, and implement it in the schools now. So we started out in a school in Kuje, where we've done an assessment of their toilets, and we've seen that they don't have enough toilets. Okay. So we're starting out with forming the club first of all. They have a club, but it's not so strong. So we're coming to strengthen what they have, and then make the club to be able to now implement some of these things we're talking about. So we've seen that they don't have enough toilets. So now we're saying, okay, how do we now give them another block of toilets? So this can come from us working with the PTA. It can come from us reaching out to SUBEP to say, hey, this school does not have enough toilets. Or the toilet conditions are bad, or something like that. It can come from us reaching out to private companies to say, hey, you work in Kuje, can you come give us a block of toilets? Or can you come dig a borehole for us? Or, and all of that stuff. So this is the first time we're beginning to do that.
Yeah.
And then the doc, no matter how it might look small, but the menstrual hygiene doc we're donating to Elsie Ozika for menstrual hygiene this year is one of the physical structures that we've had to put in place as to some of the programs that we're doing.
That's interesting. So it's safe to say that she still needs, Toilet Culture Foundation still needs a lot of support to do a lot of work, because what you're actually doing is a very, very wonderful thing. So is there any motivation for people that aspire to do something similar to what you're doing, or somebody that wants to start something but doesn't have the guts yet to come out and do it? Any motivation to give people out there?
Okay, so this is what I always say. If it bothers you so much, do something about it. I have had to sell a car a few years ago on the streets of Area 11. Yeah. Okay. Because I was living in an area where I saw a problem. A lot of hotels around, and every morning when I come out my balcony, I see people buying bread and Coke in the morning. I'm like, oh, who drinks Coke and bread in the morning? But it was because of lack. There was no one selling breakfast. No variety, affordable breakfast around there. So one day, I said, you know what, I'm going to start selling a car. And everybody thought I was joking. And by the next morning, I got a consultant because I didn't know how to fry a car. But I saw a problem. I needed to fill it. Yeah. And then I got her, she taught me for a week. I paid her 10,000 and she was off and I started selling a car. People thought I was crazy, but it was beyond crazy. I was trying to solve a problem. So this is what I do. If it bothers you, do something about it. That's what I say. If it bothers you, do something about it. So if you are passionate about it and you've been talking about it or maybe complaining about it for so long, it's time you do something about it. Yeah. Very interesting. So we've actually come to the end of this interview. Already. Do you have more to say, more to add? Well, the only thing I will have to say is I love what I do because I'm changing history. I'm changing the narrative. I went to a school where I experienced very bad toilets. At primary, secondary, and tertiary, bad toilets. That is what formed my toilet culture as a Nigerian. If not that I'm doing what I'm doing now and I know better, I would go anywhere and mess up a toilet. Because I'm used to it. I grew up identifying toilets with filthiness and smells and all of that. It doesn't have to be so. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing with all of my heart, because no child should have to experience what I went through. But unfortunately, we still have that going on. On radio today, we had a girl from a private school say, the girls' toilet, you don't stay in there, you don't open your mouth, you rush in and rush out. That's very bad. Most of us had that experience. Yeah, you rush in schools. Oh, sure. You rush in and you rush out. So what we're doing is very key to just change that narrative. And we need a lot of support to be able to do this. So we need support in terms of finances, in-kind donations, and expertise. People who just come and say, hey, we know so much about this. We're willing to do this. We can come in. And all of that. So, my final words would be that if you see your surroundings, many of us live in places that we can identify ills around us, and the best thing you can do is not to just sit back and do nothing about it. Do something that posterity will thank you for, as Miss Elsie has done already. This is the end of the show, and I would like to say that do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube page on Smile Radio TV on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and those.